Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on this, my journey into the constraints-led approach for grappling. My name is Sam Battlefields, and I am going to review today's class. Today's class was a good one. It was obviously a bit smaller, and we started with boxing, as is always, warms us up. One of the benefits I reckon I've felt recently, due to the footwork that we've been doing, is that my knees are much stronger, and that's something that a byproduct that I didn't really expect to occur. So my knees feel stronger, I feel, and I think that's because I'm putting pressure. There's kind of the connective tissue is getting stretched and strained a bit, but also being able to repair itself and not being damaged in such a way that it's not able to come back from. The second game that we played is basically getting chest to back in any way, shape or form. That's that one. So we'll just have a look at that again. But I'm going to turn off my bit of love there. Both were looking for that. So earlier on in this piece, Ridwan had tried to do something, and it didn't come off. The second game that we played was from close guard. Person on the top was trying to get their knee in front, one or both knees in front of the person's hips. Now this could be in any way, shape or form, and I found that, and the person on the bottom, their goal was to isolate an arm on the shoulder, or put them on a hip or their back. Alright, I was kind of kicking myself on Monday because the win condition for guard. Well, here's the thing: I was kicking myself on Monday because the win condition from guard was just to get that arm on the shoulder, and I struggled with it very, very hard with the guys that I was with. Both of them very strong guys, a bit shorter limbs. I struggled with it quite a lot, and also there was an instance where Ridwan was with Paul, and Paul basically, rather than get his arm took, he fell to his back to protect his arm, and I realised that not having a second win condition had resulted in a design landscape that was not necessarily fully representative of the game as a whole, because if you're able to give up your back, if you're able to go from essentially what should be a 50-50 sort of offensive-defensive to, well, fuck it, my arm is getting messed with, I'm going to fall on my back and have this person mount me, then it's probably there's probably something wrong with the parameters of the game. Looking back on it though, I don't think there was necessarily anything wrong with the game. I think Paul tends to find those win parameters and deny them. And I'm not sure if this is. I don't think it's intentional. The other day yesterday when playing the back control game that Aaron did, he was just holding on. Now I think part of that was he was just like, well, like I might not need to. I don't need to win. I just need to make the other person lose. And hey, that's an understandable strategy, overall. So one thing I probably would like to do is I don't know how to really explain it without making another win condition. But I kicked myself, as I said before, a little bit because it was A, so hard, and B, it didn't become representative because the person who was on top flopped into mount. So if the win condition was, hey, if you put your back on the mat, then you lose, then he probably would have tried to defend against that. But I didn't. I wanted the idea to just explore all avenues, not just those two. So I'm not sure if I tightened it up too much, or if having just having two win conditions is a bonus because you're going to explore anything up to and including those two. But today's game looked much better, I suppose I'm saying. So today's game, people were trying not to get tipped over, not to go on their hips. There was more affordances for, or more opportunities for action affordances, more opportunities for action, and the win conditions were able to be met easier, I suppose. Easier, but still with difficulty, but with playing with the affordances that are available, rather than like, all right, I'm just going to keep my elbows to me so the person can't do anything, you know. Anyway, so I felt like that was pretty good. I was in the zone, I would say, most of this lesson. I was pretty happy with that, which is good because obviously needing a little bit of a distraction. So staying in the zone was good. Probably not as an intense of an experience. I did try and limit these two games as well a little bit because, or the stand up and guard portion, because my goal for today was to do a Kabir style back, mounted a mounted armbar, and then just go back. But then I kind of wanted to show something with regards to like how to do an effective armbar, right? So normal IP. Oh shit! Yeah, hang on. So this is the guard thing, and this is quite interesting because yeah. So as you can see, he sort of started to drag his elbows in, and he was like, "Yep, I'm going to keep that." Whoop, and then he goes, "All right." So one thing that with the armbar, we've all seen, and we've all been in classes where we're told, "All right, go and do 10 aside of a mounted armbar," and you're meant to, you know, put your arms on their chest and then have one arm coming through, and then you spin around and you get the arm and you do an armbar, and then you jump back up and you do another armbar, and then you jump back up and you do another armbar, and you just go back and forth. If you haven't done that, then yeah, drillers are killers, etc., etc. And yeah, I know that was terrible back then, because I've never spun around that quick when creating an armbar. There's always been way too much space. So doing it the right way, I wanted to kind of show that. So the initial armbar that we did was we had basically the person on the bottom was able to protect as much as possible. They weren't allowed to go face down or like roll over away to go face down. They weren't allowed to do that. So there was a constraint there. But their shoulders had to be on the mat, right? And there was a method to the madness. So the shoulders are on the mat, and what it showed was how easy it is to kind of, if your shoulders are on the mat and your arm is getting taken, how easy it is to go from here to getting it into a protected thing in an armbar, right? And then this is what we, so the starting point was this, right? So he's here, but as soon as his arm goes over, his leg goes over, the game starts, right? Now, Ridwan is kind of the more green of the two in this. So he actually starts going for like the spiderweb armbar, and obviously with leg over the head, it's not the best sort of armbar to go for. He's much better off than he was. Like he yeah, there we go. So all right, so example wise, it's not the best. I probably should have chosen to record Aaron giving an armbar to him or me, but obviously if you set up with an arm that deep in your hips, that deep on their shoulder, you are light years ahead of their shoulder being here. Now, it all connected to Aaron's class yesterday, which he connected to the previous class, but it all connected to that, and part of that was basically getting that shoulder up off the ground and behind it in order to then set up this thing. So tomorrow we're going to be putting it all together, as in it will be from mount, and the goal will be to get an armbar. So, you know, yeah, okay, there's a couple of things that, you know, it's a fairly singular direction, but, you know, the stuff that we worked on yesterday and the day before of isolating an arm, I think, I hope that it all comes into play. And fortunately, most of the guys, well, fortunately it's kind of us three at the moment, and then Will comes along. We see. You know, hopefully a few more, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, so that was today's class. It was a good one. As I said, it is a sad week, but we are getting through it. I'm really lucky to have the morning crew. You know, yesterday when I came in, I was very emotional, and you know, every single one of the boys gave us a hug, and you know, and we all commiserated on a good level. So, and then trained, which is awesome. So, but yeah, I have an awesome interview happening tomorrow evening, which for some of you will be like 2 days away. But it is with Keith Davids and David Farrock. We are looking at CLA and flow states. Got a bit of a roadmap for it. Really keen for this interview. So I hope you're able to come along for that. This is Sam Battlefields. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you've got any comments, if you've got any questions, etc. Peace.